Okay guys, in today's video, we're taking a huge step to getting timeout back on the water, which is we're going to be applying a barrier coat, which we're using TotalBoats Total Protect. So the day is finally here. We got a good weather window. It's time to do barrier coating. So we've got our TotalBoat Total Protect, which you would have seen me talk about from the previous video. I applied it on the centerboard. I was really happy with it. So now we're gonna just make the commitment. I got a couple gallons of it and we're gonna be applying it to the hole. So let me first kind of show you what the barrier coat's gonna do, and then we'll get into making it happen. So if you look here, we have where gel coat's been sanded through. Here we have our repair we did. Some more gel coat sanded through spots, and there's also other repairs, little ones that are throughout the boat. So what the barrier coat's gonna do is it's gonna seal all this. And gel coat is actually porous, which I didn't know till recently. So having this sitting underwater, we don't have plans to have timeout sitting underwater for super long period, or sitting in the water for super long periods of time. But if it does, the gel coat can be penetrated and cause osmosis and blisters and all kinds of issues. The hole is in great shape. The gel coat, while it's worn through in tons of spots, is actually fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no gel coat blisters. But what we're gonna do is, by coating this in a barrier coat, it seals all of this to where we don't have to worry about any kind of water penetration. The barrier coat is technically a primer, and then we'll do our bottom coat right over the top of it. All right, so first thing we're gonna do with our barrier coat, or to apply the barrier coat, is we need to clean the whole boat down with acetone. Well, everywhere that we're going to be painting on the barrier coat. We also need to tape our water line, which we're going to do now. So to prep for applying our barrier coat, we got to do a couple things. I have a bottle, just a spray bottle with acetone, and I'm going to spray on and just clean the entire area that we're bottom coating with acetone. So it has no impurities, it's super clean. This is also a good time for me to inspect all these little repairs I've done and little like fairing marks to make sure everything is perfectly smooth. We also, you can see I've got a little pencil line working here. You can see the old decal that was on it. This is going to be our new water line. I'm actually going to go to the top of this, because in pictures I've seen this water line, this little decal sometimes underwater or right at the waters in the middle point. We want the barrier coat to be high enough that it's always gonna, keep the gel coat out of the water, or whatever we end up doing for our upper surface, our top coat area. So I need to go through and tape this off. I'm gonna use the 2090 tape from 3M, because it's gonna give me an entire week before I have to peel it off, which is awesome. So right now, cleaning the hole with the acetone. Once that's done, we can tape our line. I'll probably clean it one more time with acetone to be safe, and then we can start rolling on our barrier coat. Okay, here's the plan. So I have mixed up barrier coat in small batches in these little cups, but nothing this big. So here's how I'm gonna strategize it. So I've got these cups on Amazon, these TCP Global cups. So we have our 3-to-1 mixture. We're gonna ignore this one. We just want the 3-to-1 here. So I think I'm gonna start with 4, this number 4. So then I'm gonna go all the way up to here with the base coat. Then I'm gonna bring the curing agent up to the next line of number 4. And then when I follow that across, that's 36 ounces. So what I wanna do is I wanna thin it after it has been mixed. When the two parts are mixed, the 3-to-1 parts are mixed, you wait 15 minutes and you add thinner. So over here, I've got these little epoxy sticks cups I've been using throughout this build, and it's measured in ounces. So if I did 36 ounces, you know, I want to go a little more than 10%. So I think I'll do about 4 ounces and see how that goes for rolling out. Because I did talk to TotalBoat, and when I did the centerboard, it was a little more texture-y than I wanted it to be. I'd like it to be a little smoother. So they said, no problem. Thin it out a little bit more. So I think I'll start with 4 ounces of thinner to mix into my 36 ounces of paint. And then we'll give it a go. I've got, for rollers, I've got these Red Tree. I was a little disappointed. These came from Wholesale Marine. On the pictures, it showed they were red like the normal mohair. But the more I've read about it, I mean, they are mohair, and apparently whether they're red or white, I don't think it really matters. But they're 3/16, which is what we want. And I went with the 9-inch roller because we got a lot of surface to cover, and I figured that would make the job a little bit easier and less little lines from, you know, with a bunch of 4-inch rollers. And then I do have, and this is not the roller I'm going to use, but I've got this really long-handled adjustable roller. I will be swapping this out for my 3/16 mohairs, but this is going to be able to do the centerboard trunk, because up inside there, I can't get these rollers up in there. It's too tight of an area. So this little guy should get up in there and coat the trunk really, really well. Okay, so we're at our 3-to-1 ratio. We're at level 4. I'm gonna pop off this guy. And then what we need to do is just go to the number 4 here. And here we go. There you have it. 1 part of our curing agent, hardener, 3 parts of our base. So I'm gonna blend this up, and then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna throw my epoxy primer in it. Okay, so I mixed it up off camera. I went ahead and went to the number 4 on the 3-to-1. I whisked out on the 5. I was like, it's too much paint. So we're gonna start with the 4. That is about 36 ounces of mixed paint, barrier coat, epoxy coat. So I have about 4 ounces of thinner, which I'm using the epoxy primer thinner 200. So this is the same process I use doing the centerboard, but we're just doing bigger quantities. So I only got a few more minutes. I got everything prepped and ready. I've got the time lapse set up. We'll see how this goes as far as being able to record it, but I'm a one-man show today, and I gotta keep moving so I don't burn through this paint and mess things up. So here in a couple minutes, I'm just gonna mix the thinner in. I'm gonna mix it up really good one more time. We're gonna dump it into the tray, and we're gonna start barrier coating. was a lot of work. That is just one coat. I made a little bit of an error where when I first started putting it on, I think I was putting on a little too thin. So luckily, as I wrapped back around and I got to the part that was too thin, I still had quite a bit of paint left. And that 36 ounces of paint was enough to do the entire bottom one time. The coat's probably a little on the thin side, but not bad. Let me show you what it looks like. All right, here we go. So I started on this side, but then I came back around and did a little bit more on this side. But you can see the areas where I wasn't able to paint because of the cradle. The one thing that's interesting is even though I sanded it really well, there's this little line that shows up, which is essentially the old water line, which is kind of weird that it kind of came through. It's not a big deal, but kind of interesting because I think that's maybe where the boat's been sanded in the past and there was a little ridge, but I ran the sander over it, so I'm not sure what that's all about. But anyways, we're all good. So back here, a little thin in a few areas back here. Not bad. We got all underneath. Come around to the other side. Again, painting around my little stand. This side, I feel like I did better. I kind of was getting the rhythm of it a little bit at that point. And then by the time I got through to here, I was able to keep moving. So actually, okay, I'm dumb. That's my tape. Wow. There you go. That was just my tape line. So I kind of went a little higher on this side, so that's why. But yeah, it looks good. So we have to let it dry for a little bit so we can get coat number 2 on. I think I'm going to stick with the same mixture for my size boat, which is the 4 ounces, or the number 4. 30. Basically, it's a mixed up batch of about 36 ounces. So yeah, we're making progress. Closer and closer into getting these things out and get this guy back on the trailer, which is a really big goal. I need to get that done within the next month because desert season is coming and I've got a flatbed trailer over there that I need to put right here. So this guy's got to get done. Not to mention I want to sail. We are now at 4 coats. And I will say, this is a lot of work. It's looking really good. And I am going to do a 5th coat, but I have a plan. There's a plan for this 5th coat. All right, so we have our barrier coat on. Let's talk about this plan for the 5th coat. So if you saw in the previous video, we're going to be applying bottom paint over our barrier coat. And per TotalBoat's recommendation, we are going to go with TotalBoat Krypton. The reason we're using Krypton is it's one of the harder bottom paints. So it's going to be a little more durable for going on and off of the trailer because it's going to be touching the carpet on the bunks periodically. Some of the bottom paints are not as durable as that and could come right off just from trailering it constantly. So I've already kind of committed to this. I've already bought it. It's already arrived. We got a gallon of it here ready to go. The problem with applying the paint is you have one of 2 options. We can apply our 5th coat of the barrier coat, let it get just tacky, and then we can apply our Krypton. If I apply the 5th coat now and I let it dry beyond being tacky, this like recoat window, I would have to sand the hole. I don't want to do that. And I do not have to sand the hole applying the 5th coat of barrier coat over the top of the other 4 coats. You don't have to do that because those products again are compatible. So the plan at this point is to get prepared. We're going to do this in the next video to apply our bottom coat, our Krypton, but we are going to first be applying that 5th coat of barrier, wait for it to tack, and then Krypton right on top of that. So that's going to wrap things up in today's video. I'm really happy with the progress we made. It feels so good to have that barrier coat on the boat. It's starting to really come around and look like a really nice vessel, so I'm excited about that. So thank you for watching the video, and if you enjoyed it, please give it a like.